Welcome to the Wicked Awesome Cast, episode 133, I think. That sounds right.
133.
Woo!
Yeah.
Check these things before we start recording, but did I check it? I don't fucking. Anyway, Wicked Awesome Cast. Welcome, podcast, video games, things. As always, I'm Charlie, joined by Alex and Henry these days. So, yeah, welcome.
Welcome, everybody.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
Yes.
We've got good stuff this week.
Do we?
Yeah,
We do, because I get to yell about Blizzard again. It's my new hobby.
Is that how we're measuring good?
For me, yeah, that's one of my highlights. So, can we, or do we get to make fun of other companies? I mean, yeah, no, there's more Fallout 76 drama, I think, too, and all that. There's plenty of fun stuff.
I didn't
people to make
bother
fun of.
putting that on the list this week. I think I just kind of fucking gave up on. It's like Fallout 76. It's a binary system where it's like, is it still in the news? Yeah. Is it different news? No.
I think they're competing to see who does the dumbest shit this week.
So
I genuinely think, I tweeted about that actually, thinking that I think they're in a competition to find out who can fuck up the most in a PR disaster. And let's see, every one of them every time is like, hey, hold my beer. Or I guess since they're game companies, oh, hey, hold my Mountain Dew.
Doritos. Yeah.
Oh, God. Doritos.
Yeah. I was going to put Blizzard on this list until they were like, yo, we got actual news. And I'm like, why is this actual news?
Mm-hmm.
A, didn't know this was a thing. B, okay. Like, why would you even announce this given all the shit you got going on right now?
Yeah. It's very much hindsight is not there. They're just...
Yeah, apparently.
Dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening. I mean, not to delay getting into them as a topic, but it's just, I can't believe that a major company this large that has come off some pretty big successes could faceplant this hard, this quickly in just a couple of games.
We will talk about this more when we get to it, I think.
Yes.
So in the effort of moving this along, anyone play or do anything they want to talk about this week?
Yeah. I'll bring up a few things here really quick.
Okay.
So this week actually coming up is my 3-year anniversary with the girlfriend. So I was trying to figure out what to get, and for a while now, her and I have been talking about getting a new TV, because we didn't actually have a TV in the living room. We had a small little TV in the bedroom, and we used to watch stuff on the laptop in the kitchen, like when we have dinner and all that. But now we actually have a TV where we can sit down on the couch and cuddle up and watch movies and things. And so while she went to work this Friday, I went and got a stand, a new TV, and all that. And let me tell you, trying to set up a 55-inch TV by yourself on a stand and not break anything is fucking terrifying.
Is it on the wall stand or on a table stand?
Table stand.
Do you know the trick for that?
No.
You put the box upside down and mount the stand in the box. The boxes are designed that way.
You son of a bitch. I had no idea.
Pro tips from the roadie.
I should have asked the fucking roadie.
Yeah, it's why the box bottom comes off normally.
You devious genius.
Yeah, you can often pull the outside of it off upside down for that exact purpose.
Well,
or you put the TV face down on a bed.
Apparently, you're not supposed to put the TV face flat down or anything like that. They're you shouldn't do that.
Hence the bed, because it will always be a little bit of an incline or something because of the blankets.
That's true. But yeah, I got it all set up all by myself. So by the time she got home, there was a nice little TV there waiting for us. I got a nice one too. I got that TCL.
Oh, nice.
They're an interesting company. They really well reviewed. And yeah, it's nice. Got that Roku built in. So
it's Roku built into the TV.
Oh, yes. Nice. Oh, that's awesome.
Not just smart apps?
No, it's an actual Roku built into the TV.
Well, so what's the refresh rate on your TV? Is it capable of 4K?
Yeah, it's 4K 120.
Oh, very nice. It can actually do 60 frames a second 4K then. Awesome.
Well, it can do 120 frames a second. So.
I believe so.
Yes, but
something
most
like that.
TVs can't actually do 60 frames a second when they should be able to.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only thing I have not been able to figure out, and for some reason, I think I have to get a better high-speed HDMI cable. 'Cause I hooked up the PS4, but I can't get the HDR to work.
Your PS4 doesn't have HDR.
The PS4 for the first PS4 should have
No, it doesn't.
HDR. No,
No.
no, because it gives me the error saying your TV doesn't support it.
Your PS4 doesn't have HDR.
Really?
You're talking the 4K thing, right? Only the Pro has 4K stuff.
Yeah.
I could have sworn
Nope.
HDR at least.
The Xbox One had that, I think, but yeah, no,
Yeah, I'm not.
your PS4 does not have HDR.
Are you sure? Because I'm looking at it right here, and it says the regular PS4 should work just fine
It'll work on it.
for HDR. Yeah,
Don't think it does that.
I think I just need an HDR cable or like HDR cable that has more bandwidth. Because my TV supports HDR10 format,
Okay.
and it says here you don't need a PS4. You just need you don't need a PS4 Pro, just a PS4.
Don't know then. I thought that one didn't do that one.
Huh?
And welcome to TV Talk, where we talk about TVs and how to set them up.
Yeah.
It-
So-
it may also be a lot of games don't support it. Like I guess.
Well, I mean, I should at least be able to turn it on, but every time I go into the settings to turn it on, it just says HDR not supported on your TV, which leads me to believe it's the HDMI is just not a.
You do need a premium HDMI cable for this, yes.
That's probably what my bottleneck is.
Possibly.
So I'll have to pick one up. But yeah, it's nice now because I have that, and it's the Roku built into the TV has some very interesting, fun little features, which is nice. I'm able to I have a remote control built into my phone, my phone, so I can change channels, pull stuff up, and all that. And then once it's late at night and we have to turn the volume down because we have quiet hours here,
Yeah.
you can use our phone as a Bluetooth point and just listen to the TV through our phone with
Huh.
headphones.
That's cool.
As long as you're on the Wi-Fi, of course, and all that. But
yeah.
so there's that.
Because you have a Roku now, go to the website, dig into all of the we're not going to say these exist, but they totally exist Roku apps.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's some cool stuff. I know there's the official Twitch app is gone, so I have to download some sort of bootlegged version of the Twitch
I got
app.
the Twitch app on my Roku.
If you have it if you had it before they took it off the market, you can keep it.
They
but
may have
there's no-
delisted it. It's still out there. It's in Roku. You just have to find it in Roku. That's what I'm talking about. Giant Bomb has an app built into Roku that you have to find.
Mhm.
There's some stuff out there that if you want to get weird with Roku, you totally can.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll figure it out at some point. But yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at right now with that.
Ooh.
So it's been fun, and it's nice to actually have a TV, like an actual TV, because I got the PS4 on there now, and I look forward to actually playing some really cool fucking games on that.
Or playing World of Warcraft 4K.
No, fuck that.
Not just World of Warcraft. Play Classic at 4K.
I'll do it when Enhanced Shamans are fucking the tits, but until then,
You need to see how much they
There.
suck in HD.
I don't need to see the garbage spec in HD. So
I didn't notice
Yeah.
how bad the class I rolled was until I could see it in 4K.
pretty much. What else here? Oh, I need to actually crack this one open here. 1 sec. This is me opening up a cider because I am celebrating. My sister just gave birth this morning. I am
Oh,
officially an uncle.
Congrats.
So, yeah. She's been in the hospital for at least about a day and some change, I believe. Because apparently there's a wait list, like a club, to go give birth in a hospital. That's
I
a
actually
thing.
knew that. Yeah,
I did not.
So I think we talked before the podcast. You may have just mentioned it. They induced labor, right?
Yes.
Yeah. If it's scheduled, there's a wait list. If you go in hey, the baby's coming right now, then the baby's coming right now, and you get to cut the line. But yes, if it is a medical procedure, there is a wait list. When I broke my shoulder, I scheduled my surgery for my shoulder a week and a half out because that's when the doctor was available. On one hand, you're this is nuts. On the other hand, it's, well, I'm not getting worse. Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Well, I just thought that was weird. Like, because they scheduled her originally, like, hey, come in on the 13th. We'll schedule you this time for the 13th, and you'll be okay. And then
she got bumped.
13th comes around. She's like, yeah, there's like 8 ladies ahead of you. Like, okay,
That
well,
means a lot
and
of
they didn't
people under
actually
labor
admit
when they
her.
weren't supposed to, or vice versa, or someone stayed longer than they were supposed to. Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
Basically, some bouncer outside the hospital, like, you're not on the list yet.
Yeah, pretty much. I didn't know maternity wards had bouncers, but I guess they do.
Right, that's what I do with my weekends.
Yeah,
Tell pregnant ladies they're not.
you bounce at a
I
maternity.
tell pregnant ladies they're not on the list.
Yeah, you're not on the
And that
list.
those shoes
You know,
don't go
get
with
out
that
of here.
belt.
You're not on the list. Get out
We're
of
trying to run a
here.
classy establishment up in this hospital. We don't want your type
Right.
here. Pregnant women? Yeah,
Yeah.
you heard me. Back of the line.
And then when you get into an argument with one of the ladies there, Scrump walks over. He's like, "We got a problem here." "Oh no, Mr. Scrump. No, everything's okay." That's what I thought.
My dog has been arm stealing hard this week.
I've seen.
Ugh. My dog is gonna kill me or Jen at some point. Like, and the other won't be surprised. We're just gonna be like, okay, yeah, we crossed her.
This is it. It happened. But yeah, so she gave birth. I'm gonna check in on her. I know she's recovering, but my mom will be taking care of her for at least 2 weeks now.
Think you'll head
But
down to LA for your uncle duties or no?
not anytime soon.
Oh, I was gonna help you with the burrito raid again, though.
Yeah, I was looking forward to doing another burrito
I was gonna
raid,
do it
but
better for you this time.
She didn't do too
I was gonna
bad.
get you more burritos, you idiot.
Oh, this
You're
other-
talking to the man who brought steak into India. I can help you bring burritos back to Portland.
That's right. You did bring back.
Ugh.
I
The more
forgot
times I
that.
tell that story, the worse I feel about it, but also the funnier it gets.
That's still pretty
It's-
fucking funny.
Pretty bad, too.
But yeah, so other than that, I mean, it's been an alright week. Nothing too fancy. Just getting ready for the holidays, if you will.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
I played 2 games this week.
Oh, go
Alright,
on.
so, there are certain games, certain franchises that are so good they had to come out after the TGAs to give that weak shill shit like Red Dead Redemption and God of War a chance at the crown. And it's Earth Defense 5. EDF 5 is among us, and I feel bad in saying this as a huge fan of the Earth Defense franchise. This is the first Earth Defense franchise game that I felt they may have phoned it in finally. Like, maybe this one's not as good as the other ones. Which is saying something because these games are terrible.
I remember you've played through at least one
I
of them before.
fucking love the Earth Defense Force. I've been playing them back since the PS2 when you had to import them from Japan and didn't know what the fuck was going on except shoot the giant bugs. Like, those who know what Earth Defense Force is, it's essentially a Japanese kind of monster movie in a video game. You play a foot soldier whose job is to fight giant ants and spiders and grasshoppers, and eventually you make your way up from giant bugs to spaceships and Godzillas and mechas and other stuff. And I think around Earth Defense Force 3 they added the ability to drive stuff like tanks and mechas yourself. But the crux of the game, and like you have to be down with the crux of how dumb this game is at least if you're playing it correctly, you are a foot soldier with a machine gun that you're using to shoot or a shotgun or a rocket launcher that you're using to shoot like half-mile wide UFOs out of the sky. And it's not one UFO, it's like 40 UFOs. Like, the game doesn't get harder, there's just more stuff on screen at once. And so I didn't get far enough into this to confirm this, but so either Earth Defense Force 5 is they are officially rebooting the franchise. If you are new to Earth Defense Force, this is the time to jump on, that the story is new. Or, and this is kind of like on par with Earth Defense Force writing, they erased everyone's memories after the events of Earth Defense Force 4.1 Shadow of New Despair, and we're now rediscovering the alien slash monster slash giant bug menace. And if that's the story, Earth Defense Force is fine. But I myself was a little bit thrown, where most Earth Defense Forces start off with like everyone being like, we didn't know the giant bugs were going to be back, but we were stockpiling nuclear-powered mechas for a reason, I guess. And this one, you're playing as a security guard off the bat, and they're like, I don't know what's going on. Guess I'll shoot these bugs.
Might as well, it's season.
Yeah, despite the fact you're like being a security guard for a military underground complex that's obviously designed to like accommodate Gundams. I have special love for the Earth Defense Force franchise. Like, each one has successfully escalated and, like, doubled down on the dumbness that I enjoy. This one has a really slow start to it, which I don't enjoy. Like, historically, they've kind of fucking thrown you into the deep end and been like, fucking play EDF. And I'm like, cool, I played the last 7 of these, or whatever. And this one's like, no, here's a tutorial. And I'm playing it going, you don't get why I play EDF at all, do you, Bandai Namco? Like, half the fun is, I didn't know I could drop a building onto ants to kill one. Cool!
Ooh, it's made by Bandai
this
Namco?
is a Japanese-ass game, too. It's badly translated, minimum effort put in, but a lot of fun. Like, if you've never played an Earth Defense Force game, 5 is realizing the dream Earth Defense Force has always had, which is, what if we got to a point where graphics were fine, and rather than improving the graphics, we improved frame rate and how many fucking things we can have on screen at once, and kept just pushing out that draw distance slowly. Like, these games have been badly optimized and run terribly in the past. Like, these are not good games. They have never been good games. Like, this is the first one to approach, like, okay, yeah, maybe this is an okay game in, like, technical specs, like, screen tearing, frame rate issues have all been kind of par for the course for this franchise, and it's nice to get smoothed out finally, but I feel like something's been lost. Like, it's no longer quite as like, man, this game is terrible and amazing. Yeah, it's out there. It may be the full priceness of it. I remember these things being like $40 for a long year. It's like they were always cheaper than a full price video game, which you're like, oh no, I know what I'm getting. I'm buying an EDF game. It's going to be, yup. But on the opposite end of the spectrum, I played a really, really, really good video game as well, called Mutant Year Zero: Road to Eden.
I'm not familiar with that.
It is relatively new. It was not on my radar, and when I first heard about it, I dismissed it until I watched some videos on it by kind of freak accident. So, it is an XCOM-like game, meaning it's a tactical kind of squad shooter thing, except, and unlike XCOM, the percentages feel fair and some other stuff goes on. So, I'm trying to think how to best describe this game that's not going to totally fuck with, like, okay, so the game takes place, give me one sec, actually. There's a really quick way of this, of explaining this. I just didn't bother looking it up beforehand. Because I'm bad at my job, apparently. Okay, so your squad consists of 3 people: Dux, Borman, and Selma, I believe is what her name is. Yep, Selma. And Borman is a mutant who's a boar man, as the name implies, as in, like, he has a pig head. Dux is an anthropomorphized duck. And Selma's like some weird gravel face, like horned demon chick lady thing. And this isn't like, and it's a serious tactical game with like a dark as fuck story. But occasionally, like, ducks will say things like, I don't give a duck. Spelled like duck, and you're like, oh god, this is either terrible or amazing.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah, but then you're also, like, stealth murdering your way through, like, encounter, and, like, man, this is brutal. And then you get to the end of the encounter, and someone says something like, man, that was boring, and then Borman goes, hey! Oh, you meant them. Okay, yeah. So, the game's got a sense of humor about it. The game takes place after a crazy apocalypse happens. Its world is... So like, multiple... So, the world is our world, meaning like it is the end result of a series of increasingly catastrophic apocalypses. Like I know it should be one apocalypse and done, but the game makes the point of cascading apocalypses. Like the world goes through glacier ice caps melting, then some super plague, then nuclear war, and then like there's just basically no humans left and they cluster together. And you are a stalker, meaning you work for a place called New Eden. Your job is to go out into the wasteland, the vast wasteland that's been kind of reclaimed by nature some, and bring back supplies. And there's some cool moments, like you find a boombox, and two of your characters argue about what it is. And it says boombox on it, so Dux assumes it's a bomb, obviously. And he's not wrong to assume that. Like, they have just no concept of what a majority of modern kind of, they call them artifacts in the game, I think, are. Like, they call welders spark makers, and like they fight about the correct way to use a microscope at one point and bring up the fact that like if you look through one end it makes things that are far away way bigger, but from the other end it makes things way smaller, and Bowman and Dux fight about which is the correct end for a split second kind of thing. I'm not that far into the game. The game is stupid hard. In a good way. That's like, okay, this is the XCOM comparison. So, when you're in combat, it's kind of turn-by-turn tactical stuff. You move, you go into Overwatch mode, your percentages for hits and stuff like that. Where it differs is there's a super heavy stealth component of this game, and this is something I love about the game, where it's not like, you don't drop into a map and you're in combat. It's there are like almost not FPS, like RPG-style random encounters, but they're not random. I mean, like, when you're in combat, you're in combat. When you're not in combat, you're in kind of this, like, exploratory / stealth mechanic system where it is possible to stealth your way through an entire zone, hypothetically. I've done it a couple times because the stuff there was way too heavy, was way too high level for me. And it's not like I missed out on stuff. I very specifically walked around stuff and grabbed gear when I needed it, and then, like, when I was higher level, came back and just wasted the fools there for experience and stuff. But it's very heavy on the tactics, and kind of the cool thing is I actually got done with a level zone last night where there's a big cluster of enemies in the center that were like, I could probably take them, but I was capable of sneaking out and around them and getting to the objective for that zone, taking out like 4 guys in the process. And that's kind of where the stealth part of it comes in. When you can ambush people, and ambushing is a very important mechanic because you can limit how many people you're fighting at once. So a couple times I was capable of taking like large-scale battles and whittling them down to like 3 or 4 people at the end after taking out like the other 10 that were in the area. It's very cool and really fun to play, and like between the combat and the story and the setting and just kind of like how the game conveys path of sight and all that stuff, the game has this tension to it that lots of games like it don't have. Like the Wasteland, the zone, has this unbelievably uncomfortable, like, at any second you might just die feeling to it that a lot of games don't do well. Like, it's got that kind of Metro Exodus Metro feel where it's dark. This is a very believable apocalypse, and the realities of what life in it are terrible and tense, and it is far more kind of beneficial to sneak past enemies than engage in long firefights. You probably are going to win because they just have numbers on their sides, and there's a story unfolding. Like, I think the story is 3 main characters are very much mutants, and there's been a couple dialogue lines about like, hey, why do you never see any mutant corpses? And there's a story of a place called Eden that's like this paradise, and like high-tech satellites or something are falling out of the sky, and there's this faction called the Ghouls that I'm assuming are people leaders, but like they got some weird stuff and they live out in the zone. Like, there's lots of intriguing stuff going on, and like the characters are well written, the characters are fun, their interactions are a lot of fun. When you go back to base, there's a lot of cool lore building there. The shops have really fun personality too. Like the lady who runs the like item shop fucking hates you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like, she is doing you the most bare bone of favors in helping you equip yourself, and like cannot be bothered with your stalker ass adventurer shit. It's like, oh yeah, whatever. And like the game has a wonderful feeling of it's a world on edge at all times, and the stalkers keep the city going because they bring back food and necessary supplies, but like it's this delicate clockwork thing where it's always on the verge of kind of caving in on itself, and I initially was like, oh, it's dumb, you play as a duck, pig, and demon lady person, whatever, but no, I've now come to be like, man, this duck is awesome, and this boar, fucking yeah, Boorman. Selma's still whatever, but ducks and bowmen, yeah, fucking yes. I want to hang with ducks. It's a fantastic game. If you're into kind of that, like, I'm typically not into tactical shooters. I'm playing on the lowest difficulty, quote, normal, and I still occasionally eat it in some scenarios. If you're a fan of XCOM, you should absolutely be checking this game out. It is unbelievably well done. I'm having so much goddamn fun with it, and I didn't go in expecting to have as much fun as I'm having. Like, okay, this is kind of becoming a big thing. I'll check it out for the podcast. I'm like, no, this is a really good game. I'm really enjoying this, and it's from some of the developers that used to made the last Hitman, and kind of some of the details there show. It's a beautiful game. It looks great. It's got great personality. The writing for it's been a lot of fun. I love the combat. Like the second gameplay is great. It's a really good game. I'm really enjoying it so far. I was not expecting to finish it, and I probably will, just because I want to see what happens. I also bought a copy of the 5th edition rules for Shadowrun because I make good life choices. What have you been up to, Henry?
I've been pretty busy this week, to be honest. I didn't get around to playing too much. I did play some Ring of Elysium.
Okay.
And yeah, I don't know if you've had a chance to play that.
I have not, but I've heard decent things about it.
Well, it's definitely PUBG, except better programmed.
Yeah,
it's definitely way better programmed. It looks kind of similar, except well, they definitely push PUBG into having more kind of seasonal weather.
Sorry, yes, I did play this. I thought it was a different game for a second. I forgot this is the PUBG and snow game.
Yeah, and so I got to figure out that the snowboard is awesome because you don't have to be on a slope for it to move you like 30 miles per hour. It will go anywhere. You can literally use it anywhere. So I'm having a lot of fun actually blowing by people in vehicles on my snowboard, and the thing is, it's like they're so surprised. Everybody takes pot shots a bit late because they didn't expect to see a guy on a snowboard blow by them on a road, like on a paved road. We're talking like, because they have paved roads in the game, and I just snowboarded, like just blew by people on a snowboard.
Suck it, nerds.
Yep, and I actually managed to do pretty well in most of the games. Like, I was in top 10 and got top 5 a few times too. Alright, so for those that are unfamiliar, Ring of Elysium, it is another one of your games, in the Fortnite PUBG vein. And I guess the main thing with it is it's in snow, and so you can choose from a few different loadouts that will give you certain advantages. One of them is with a snowboard,
like a wingsuit,
one with a hang glider. Glider. And the third is like mountain climbing and rappelling gear. And it can also take zip lines, but that one seems to be not very useful. But yeah, the snowboard's amazing because it's like it has a motor on it. You can just take it anywhere. But it runs smoothly, it runs well, and yeah, it's just way more polished. It really is way. See, I have played PUBG before, but yeah, Ring of Elysium, way more polished. Definitely better game, but similar enough that you're probably not missing much if you never play it and you're playing PUBG.
Yeah, the impression I've gotten is that new PUBG snow map is in a direct reaction to the Ring of Elysium stuff.
Oh, it absolutely is. It absolutely is.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me that they do something like that.
Yeah, I've heard good things about Ring of Elysium. I remember playing it some, being like, yeah, this plays solidly enough. This was a month or two ago, I think, back when it was still. It's out now officially, right? It's not like early access.
Yes. Well, let me see. I'm not sure. I think it might. No, I think it is a full release now. See, I played it. I played it before it was fully released here. I played it on some servers. I actually had to install a client for some other servers.
Yeah, it's through Tencent's Steam competitor now, basically, I think. Yeah.
Yes. And so, but yeah, I installed it through Steam. But now you can install it through Steam because it's an official, like, international release. When I was playing it, it wasn't an official international release yet. So, but yeah, it was fun, and it was kind of like PUBG in that you can kind of choose to do either get in a lot of fights, like gunfights, if that's what you want, or you can just try to figure out if you can determine where you think the final spot is going to be. Because the other thing about Ring of Elysium is there's actually room for 4 people on the helicopter. It's not a all or nothing. However, there's a big ladder up to the helicopter, and generally, if you start climbing up the ladder a bit too soon, everybody else just will annihilate you as soon as you get on the ladder. Oh yeah, it's funny to see people try. Yeah, well, it's fun to see people try because they'll start to try to go up and down on the ladder, but you can't move that fast, so you're not dodging
like
very
you're on a
effectively.
ladder or something.
Yeah, it's like, going up and down on a ladder is kind of hard or something. Yeah, so yeah, it's pretty funny to watch those attempts to try to outrun bullets on a ladder. But yeah, if there is, it is the prisoner's dilemma at the end of the game. If the people agree not to shoot each other, 4 people can get on the helicopter, but I've seen many games also where if one or two of them decide not to, I mean, that just means everybody's at war. and you end up with 1 on the helicopter in the end. But if you have sort of a unspoken agreement, which I've kind of seen before, I've seen that happen before, all 4 people get on the chopper.
This is where you want that hang glider. So you take that thing all the way up, then you jump out.
Yeah, I'm not sure you can. I'm not sure you can hang glide into the helicopter.
Oh no, I'm saying out of the helicopter.
Why would you
take
do
it
that?
up with other people in it and you drop it?
Well, no, the helicopter is how you win the game.
Oh, right.
Yeah, see, that's the end of the game. Once you board the helicopter, that's it. You can't actually get back out.
Right. My brain had a malfunction there for a sec. I'm like, I never won a game of Ring of Elysium when I was playing it. It was okay, kill people, got it.
Yeah, but yeah, it is very. I think that is very interesting, and I don't think it's actually spoken about enough. But it is the classic prisoner's dilemma, which, if you're not familiar with it, look it up. I don't really want to take time out on the podcast to explain it, but it's a really neat idea, and it's very much watching that unfold every single time you play Ring of Elysium. So, but that's what I found really interesting about that.
News?
Sure. Yeah.
All right, Alex.
All right. Where do we start?
Do your bit, you idiot. Are we done with this?
Huh?
Are we done with your intro to news?
I thought you hated it, and then you told me not to do it.
You made this exact same joke last week.
It's a joke that keeps on
No,
giving.
it does not. All right, right off the bat, The Witcher is coming to Monster Hunter World because, sure, fuck it, why not? Geralt of Rivia is now going to be so kind of like how Ryu and what's her name, Sakura, I think, came to Monster Hunter World as skins, and Aloy came for that matter too on the PS4. Geralt of Rivia is coming.
Why? Who asked for it? Somebody asked for this?
I think some people actually did ask for this. I don't know.
Isn't he supposed to be witching or something instead of monster hunting?
Well, that's what witching is, technically, but...
I'm never really quite clear on what a witcher actually
They
witches.
hunt monsters. A witcher hunts monsters.
Then why is he a witcher? Why doesn't he hunt witches?
I don't know. He also hunts witches, technically.
it makes no sense. But I'm reading too much into his job.
Witcher Hunts Monsters. This isn't the weirdest team up, and
it makes way more sense than Street Fighter skins. I'll give you that.
Well, that one makes sense because Capcom. But yes, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Or the fact that my Palico can dress himself up as a stalker from what was that game called? Aloy's from mech hunting game. I'm blanking on it right now. Horizon.
I have no
Zero
idea.
Dawn.
Oh,
Yeah, because Witchers be witching.
but you know who's a more natural fit? Ash. Just make it go full circle.
No, Ash
Just-
hunts zombies. These are monsters.
No. I'm talking about Pokemon Ash.
No, he doesn't hunt. He captures. This is different. You can technically capture in Monster Hunter, but mostly it's about getting that sweet animal murder on.
Yeah, but you do realize that Pikachu has murdered lots and lots of animals.
Yeah,
You know when you leave a monster fainted by itself in the middle of the woods, you haven't left it to rest. You haven't left it to take a nice nap. You've left it to
Henry,
die.
you beat that thing to sleep.
Let's just be real
beat
here.
that creature to sleep. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
No, that's not how it works out in the wild.
Absolutely how it works.
With the animals. See, so you know what? Pikachu would totally be down for frying the crap out of any monsters.
So
any
you're
of
not
these
wrong. A Pikachu skin
dragons.
for your Palico would make a lot of sense. But to bring it back to the
That would
actual
be
news
amazing.
topic,
Sorry.
no problem. Alright, so Geralt's coming for reasons, but more importantly, the first major piece of DLC or expansion for Monster Hunter is coming in early 2019 called Iceborne. It comes with a very cool looking kind of ice biome. It's unclear if so it's a new zone, but there's also some unclarity if it's also kind of a snow overlay for existing biomes, which could hypothetically be cool. It's not a lot known yet, except...
So they're putting in an ice level.
Well, seeing as Monster Hunter's all about kind of specific zones, if they have there have been ice levels previously. If there's an item in the game for, don't get too cold kind of thing, so it makes sense this is coming back. It's called a spicy drink or something. No real details yet. There's actually more about Geralt's thing out there. I guess there may be a full story behind it. It's Geralt. It's not just apparently a skin. They're doing something dumb for it.
He's there.
Yeah, it's fucking portals. And yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, now, you know what? Now I can kind of see it. Definitely makes sense.
No, it doesn't.
But you know who they should just, might as well just put Dante in there.
He's been there.
Just throw Dante in there.
I forgot.
Okay,
Dante is a playable character. Not playable character. He is a skin you can be in that game.
Okay, well, that makes sense. All right, well, how about Bayonetta?
No, but she's also owned by Nintendo now, so we'll never get that.
Yeah. Womp womp.
Yes. Speaking of being owned by Nintendo, that Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Online is real bad, apparently.
Yeah, so from what I was hearing is you would set the options for the game mode that you want. So, for example, I want to play 1v1, no weapons.
So that's not even
it's
unlockable. That's not even unlocked from the start.
Really?
So the bigger problem is that I think from the start, basically, it has what I'm going to call the traditional online Smash modes available. You have to play a chunk of online Smash before you can get to, controlled custom rules, 1v1, no items Smash. But it's very possible to kind of set your settings for that and find yourself in four-player items max, Sledgehammer all the time Smash.
Sweet. That's what every tournament level player wants.
It has come as kind of a... Yeah. So as someone who spent a lot of time doing the cheesy way of unlocking characters this week because I don't fucking know what's going on with me, I stand by my original statement of, for all the hardcore Smash fans out there, fucking yeah, they're leaning into the tournament shit with this. No, they're not. This game is kind of a fuck you on that topic.
That's amazing. Sorry, I have to stay on the haha. I don't really like Smash Brothers.
Yeah,
train.
it's so beyond kind of the weird unlocking systems. On top of that, the network is really bad. The online play is bad, and I have not experienced it myself because I'm not paying for Nintendo's online yet. But the ongoing kind of story of this seems to be that even if you are, the online's real terrible.
Well, I don't know. I mean, all right. So I'm looking at this article. I pulled it up, and it sounds to me more like it's just there's way more players that are just more casuals than there are super serious. We got to be ready for the tournament.
Of the problem. So the other issue too is that.
But is that a problem? No, that sounds like the opposite of a problem for me. If you're reaching way more people who just want to play for fun instead of for serious business, it sounds like they're probably doing better. It's just not as good for competitive players. But you know what? Competitive players are not the bread and butter of any video game. It's the wider audience. Your tournament level and your tournament level loving players, that's not really your wide audience that you're wanting to hit. I didn't
pull an article specifically talking about this because it's kind of mentioned in this, which was the netcode for the game is bad. Like, it's very... it's one of those things where kind of in the for fun, 4-player Smash Fests, the netcode's not as important because chaos. Like, it... again, like, it's one of those ones where it's the who is Smash for at the end of the day, and I don't care, but it's one of those things where for the people that care a great deal about trying to practice and kind of the hardcore approach to it, the netcode is bad. Like, it's got... I've seen stuff where it's possible for just, like, disconnecting's happening. Like, it's the... You have to buy... You almost have to buy the Ethernet adapter for Switch. Remember, you can't hook a Switch up to Ethernet without buying a peripheral. And even then, like, it's the... You shouldn't have to go through a crazy unlocking system to make a 1v1 match with your friend. You do have to do that in this game. Like, and I get it's not for the hardcore crowd, but like you should be able to have that. And again, remember on top of this, you only have characters you unlocked. So if you're someone who does play this hardcore, like, and does play it for money or whatever, you're not interested in spending the 20 plus hours to get through Spirit Mode. Like, I've been laming it out in the kind of quit the program, reopen it, lame it out approach with King K. Rool to just get through characters. And K. Rool's broken. How do I know this? I'm good with K. Rool. That's a broken-ass character.
Yeah, it sounds like they didn't quite... It's weird. I mean, Nintendo, come on. This is literally your console. You should know how the netcode works.
They've always been
on
bad
your
at
console.
Nintendo netcode has been reliably shitty.
Oh no, this comes as no surprise to anyone, but like, if the netcode was just bad, or the unlocking or the kind of like matchmaking system was just annoying, it'd be one conversation. But when you marry the two together, where it's like, oh, you won't notice how bad the netcode is until you like do or get to the thing you want to via unlocks. Yeah, it's surprising no one. The netcode is bad, but also like, it's 2018. Indie games frequently have better netcode than this game does.
Yep.
Like, I don't fully know how video game netcode works, but I get the impression you can just go out there and buy acceptable, like, fighting game netcode. Like, fuck. I played Girl Fighter, whatever the hell it was, on the PS3, which was a terrible game. But its netcode was okay.
You mean Girl Fight? So... Yeah. Little tidbit on that because you brought it up.
I know your sister worked on it. That's why I bring it up every once in a while as my example.
Oh, okay.
Like that game has so many faults aside for like it's fucking Girl Fight. It's a bad game, but it maybe has better netcode than Smash does. Is the impression I've got.
Probably.
No one's playing it, but yeah.
Well, shit at the level design. The level design was okay. The other stuff was garbage.
The zones were cool. The zones were cool. Let's see, where to go next. Yeah, it's mildly related. Did you two watch the Sonic the Hedgehog GIF trailer thing?
Yes!
The thing where he's just running around?
Oh, you talking about Thick Sonic?
Yeah, with those human proportion arms.
And legs.
Yeah.
Oh, the legs.
Sonic, no!
Oh my gosh.
If this doesn't go straight to fucking DVD or straight to Blu-ray or something,
it looks straight up like Tumblr.
Yeah.
it looks garbage. It looks garbage here.
It looks. I mean, all right. I have to say the funniest thing was I read an article saying that like that Sega fans are actually kind of hopeful and optimistic. No. If you're a Sega fan, you're literally the opposite of that for the Sonic franchise.
Yeah.
You're always just waiting for the next train wreck, and you hope the train wreck will be entertaining, and that's about it. And well, the motion poster is entertaining in its way, and I am all right. So, full disclosure, I am a huge Sega fan. I love Sega products. I am a massive Sega fanboy. Yeah. And so I like parts of the Sonic franchise. I'm one of those people too. But the motion poster.
Oh, it's a thing of beauty. It's a thing of disturbing beauty. So here's my hope, where Detective Pikachu is giving us like super photorealistic Pokemon, which I think is great and nightmarish. I hope the Sonic movie is now just like a dude that they put in like a Muppet Sonic outfit, but leave his like face kind of exposed, but it's just him like kind of hairy, and that's the Sonic movie. That's what I hope we get at this point. I want that nightmare.
Or it's just a fursuit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's basically what I want. Yeah, but I want that human face.
But a terrible fursuit. You're talking about like somebody that's not actually furry making themselves a terrible fursuit.
Again, like it's I want you to like make a Muppet skin suit for this character, where it's like it's got the tightness of spandex, but the fur because it's made of felt or something. So it's like, is it a man or a Muppet? You be creeped out.
And it's hedgehogs have quills. They have quills. They don't have
toned calves.
They have some fur. They have furry bellies. They have adorable furry little bellies.
They're fat.
But their entire back is quills. Yep. And he just looks
this is
fuzzy
Sonic the haircut,
all over.
Which I think is great. Tell me I'm wrong. Like, that's what someone basically takes Sonic, rips the bottom half of him off, and just puts it on as a wig.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. It's okay. I want to see this one when this one is in the full light of day. When it is in the, in the uncomfortable light of day, and when he's standing beside, live humans. I think it's going to be so uncanny valley. I think people are going to actually lose their minds and see into the abyss.
I hope this does well enough we get creepy porn parodies of it.
You realize, no, it doesn't have to be good for that. You do realize that Tumblr exists.
But it's not going to soon.
Fanfiction.net still exists, too.
Fanfiction will find a way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it has already. Don't go on there and type in Sonic.
Yeah.
Don't. Just don't. Okay. So, don't go to that website either. Just don't, also. You also know that website, or something like it, is where 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh yeah, no.
Anyways, completely different. But Sonic movie, don't try not to think about 50 Shades of Grey and Sonic with the movie.
Or do
Hedgehog.
and send us emails about it.
What
was that bat called? Rose or something? Yeah, she's into some shit.
Rouge.
Yes, that's
Rouge.
Rouge the Bat. You are correct.
Yeah. I remember because I like the Sonic the Hedgehog games for the Dreamcast. Those are really, really good games.
You also know Amy Rose is
Sonic
some
games.
shit too, because that girl's crazy.
Yeah, she is insane.
Moving on to something equally dumb. It is apparently stupid easy to hack the PlayStation Classic.
Of course it is. Well, they put an emulator on it. We already spoke about that.
Yes. But it's come out that the hacking process for it is, I guess they have the source code on the console itself, so figuring it out is real simple because you can just dump it real quick. And allegedly forcing new games onto it, pretty fucking easy.
Wow. Yeah, they just literally copied it out, like dumped the firmware to a PC and got all the codes they needed. That's very unclever by Sony.
Yeah. Not much more to say to this. It's
They all right. So the specific was they included the firmware update private keys on every console. They just left that on there. So for those of you not familiar with the concept of private and public key, essentially it's like these two sort of encrypted things. When you put them together, they make sort of a complete key that allows you to make changes. That's how it kind of certifies it's certified. And so when you have both of those, then you're allowed to say get admin access to a device. And in this case, since they just left and usually it's like, for instance, when you log into anything, you're usually logging in and it's checking like a public key there with a private key back on the server. Server kept safe on the server and never actually exposed to the public. Well, in this case, they've left the private key on the device instead of the server, and so it's just literally right there. They don't need to go to the server to handshake and to complete the public plus private key combination.
So what I'm hoping is that they discover the hardware on this thing is actually powerful enough to do some weird stuff. Like, on one hand, this feels like the unbelievably laziest thing to do, which I could believe it was. On the other hand, and I'm giving them probably way too much credit, imagine if Sony was self-aware enough to be like, hi, you're going to hack the shit out of this thing anyway. Let's make it easy for you and give you a cool little cute PlayStation thing to do it on.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like then their attempt to really kind of capitalize on the rip-roaring success of the Nintendo Mini, the PlayStation Classic does seem like a massive rush job.
Yeah.
It's everything about it is just revealing how much of a rush job it was. None of it seems like it was done in-house. It seems like it was kind of piecemealed together with existing stuff. I mean, of course they created new manufacturing stuff. I mean, the shell is of course a small version, but yeah.
It's kind of the awkward situation of, do I think it's better or worse than Nintendo Classic? I'm like, I think it's about the same. I would buy one for the same reason of, I want a tiny Nintendo I can put on a shelf, or I want a tiny PlayStation I can put on a shelf. I think that's kind of fun.
Well, it's way madder than that. Have you ever played the Famicom Mini?
No.
It has, alright, so this is the bad thing about it. It has controllers. Well, it has the whole thing is this, this smaller scale thing, just like all the other minis, it's way smaller. The controllers are also to scale with the system. Ugh. They're tiny. No, they're literally look like doll controllers, but they're super responsive, actually. Like, they're really good controllers. I had a chance to play one the other day at a store, and it was like, wow, actually, even though I feel like I'm playing on a Smurf system, everything's super responsive. Like, the buttons feel good, the D-pad feels good. It's just so tiny. It is the same scale, like I'm telling you, as, like the PlayStation Classic and the NES Mini. Except the controllers are also mini, and it's madness.
I think a couple years
has some pretty cool games on it too. It actually has some really cool games, but oh my gosh, you gotta see it. Just see the controllers are like half scale. They're half scale, literally half scale. So
I remember a couple years back. It's more than a couple years back at this point. G4 set the record for having the smallest and largest functioning Nintendo controllers ever, and one was the size of a coffee table, where the buttons were like frisbees, and the other one was like you had to play with toothpicks.
Yeah, I've seen the coffee table size one, and the one I'm describing to you is not that small, but it's pretty darn tiny. You got to check out some pictures of it with somebody with the controller in their hand,
the whole console in their hand,
and it's. Yeah, it makes you feel like Shaquille O'Neal.
The thing is, if I get one of those, I can start dunking on people, no problem.
Oh yeah.
But my free
totally.
throws will be garbage.
Oh, you do know that they, made the new Shaq Fu game, or they're working on it.
I want to play that. That'll be fun to play.
Well, so speaking of Shaq Fu.
Oh, there's Shaq Fu
No,
news. Yes.
Niantic is now worth $4 billion, though.
Jesus.
Well, yeah. Are you really surprised though?
No,
But
Kinda?
for them to reach that number, that's
that's a lot of money
That's-
for a game that I don't think is very good.
yeah.
Well, I mean, they have actually put out updates because
Yeah.
initially it was okay, and then the hype of it died real quick when they did
Yeah,
first iteration of Pokemon
it's
Go.
having a weird resurgence. Two of my coworkers were playing it again and playing it compulsively again.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
don't know.
Well, now they have Pokemon Let's Go, and so
Yes,
maybe that's renewing
there's
some
a
kind of
tie-in
interest
also
back
with
into
Pokemon Let's Go that makes that game make a lot more sense in some weird ways.
the
Yeah. And then there's the next gen one they'll come out with called Pokemon Let's Go Now.
or Pokemon Let's Go soon.
Yeah.
Let's go soon. That'll be the release trailer, or at least the trailer announcing when it's going to
No,
come out.
it's
Let's go soon.
Pokemon Go 2.
Go to go to where though?
Exactly.
Ah,
Not much more.
to the bank with all the money.
Yeah, apparently. Not much more of a story there, but we kind of keeping track of these weird things. We at one point had a semi-weekly Pokemon Go news thing to talk about, for better or worse. Well, speaking of money, South Korea has passed a law making it illegal to account boost. The violation is payable in a fine.
That's really interesting.
Pretty stiff fine.
Yeah, yeah. That's
They do not fuck around.
It's roughly
I'll give them credit.
$18,000 or 20 million won, which comes to about $18,000. You also get a 2-year suspended prison sentence, which if that means it works in the U.S., if you fuck up again, you get that prison sentence.
This is
Wow.
it is crazy. And all right, so little info. I'm half Korean actually, and I have family in Seoul and Busan, and so there's some pretty harsh laws in South Korea in general. Like there's a lot of the punishments for a lot of things can be on the pretty heavy side, to be honest. But this one, I don't even know what to think about
I
this.
just love the idea we're going to have black market boosting services for Korea.
It's just, I don't see how this is, why it's illegal, or why it should be illegal. I'm just thinking about, on principle, and I don't know enough about Korean law, about South Korean law, to see how the South Korean, I don't see how they could see that this should be a crime, like a crime that should hold like a criminal sentence.
Well, I think it's one of those things where it's the esports are the traditional sports of that country at that point. It's the I make a lot of jokes about understanding esports, but mostly it's because they don't have the same type of mainstream penetration here that they do there. I have known some people that were stationed there, were doing the teaching thing in Korea, that got involved in the StarCraft at the amateur level, and they're like, no, it's a big fucking deal there. On one hand, it sounds crazy if you live in the U.S. or Europe, where this isn't quite as big a deal. But if you live there, it's kind of on par with doping in the NFL and stuff like that. These are national pastimes. These are big money. We want these sports as legit as possible. And yes, we're playing it up for yucks some too. But in a country where a lot of kind of lives and dies by your esports, the idea of going after account boosting and stuff, which in theory is kind of part of that whole world, on paper at least makes some sense. Is this insane? Absolutely, but also it's not.
All right,
not
so
insane.
I'm getting a little more information about this. All right, so this is what I was wondering about. So apparently, what they're really getting it on is to play MMOs in South Korea. You actually have to register with what is essentially your social security number.
Yeah, same with China, I think.
So if you're boosting that means somebody else is illegally using your social security number. Yeah, that's what's illegal. So, alright, so I thought that sounded fishy. I was like, I mean, I know South Korean laws can be pretty strict, but that sounded insane. But yeah, actually, that makes sense.
It's almost an accidental version of identity theft.
No, it is. It's a weird version of identity theft. But I think that leads to bigger legal implications of, do you own your identity? Who owns your identity? Do you own your own identity, or does the government own it? Because in this case, the way this law is coming down, it's saying the government owns your identity, and the government gets to police your identity. Now, there's a difference between just saying that the government gets to police your identity. That's, what you're thinking about, normal identity theft. If somebody, you would want them to be able, the feds be able to get involved if somebody stole, a bunch of stuff, took out credit cards, your name, and, did stuff like that, whatever. But in this case, it's, the government is kind of enforcing a sort of ownership over what you can do with your identity. It's one thing to have your identity stolen by somebody. It is a very, very different thing for you to let somebody else use your identity. Can it be fraud against you if you'd allowed them to do it? If you are the one allowing them to do it, can it be fraud? Should you be the one that's allowed to press charges? Or is it the government is the body that's allowed to press charges? And in this case, they're saying the government has more right over your identity to press charges than for you have a right over your own identity to let somebody else use your identity. And that, to me, is the most startling thing about this. And that's a very heavy thought, and that's not something to be taken lightly. And I hope that this hits some legal court challenges, because the implications are far-ranging.
Well, again, this is Korean law, not international law, but yes.
Yeah. I mean, but the thing is, it's like, and if you haven't noticed, a lot of democratic countries tend to take notes after each other on the types of laws they pass. They'll look at other countries and see what, other democratic countries, and see what types of laws have been passing or how they've dealt with certain situations, and take that into account. Maybe not, do it necessarily, or even consider going that direction, but they are absolutely watching and seeing what the reaction is going to be. And I don't like that step. I need to get more information on the law, but that's not a good thing. The government actually properly owning your identity, that's a very troubling idea.
I mean, technically, they kind of do own your identity to begin with. They keep the registry of all your actual information.
Yeah, but that's not the same as enforcing ownership, saying that they have the more right over your, it'd be like saying that, I bought a bicycle, but the company gets to tell me how to use it.
And do that technically now with stuff.
Yeah, I know, and that's not good. We do that with software. We don't do it with point of sale stuff. Like if I bought a bicycle, once I've got a bicycle, I can sell it. Like I'm not tied to it. Like you can sell a bicycle, but the thing is, and to roll this into games, this is the way that they do software stuff now. We aren't at a point of sale. They don't want a point of sale thing in software. They want you to have software where they still own the license over it, and all you've bought is a license to use it.
Yeah, it's been like that for some time now. I mean,
yeah.
I get the whole point of sale side of things, but just to play devil's advocate here, they have that. Like, for example, let's go with WoW in the U.S. I'll just use that as an example. Mm-hmm. Account sharing has always been illegal, or at least that kind of thing. That's always been a no-no. So even though you bought the license to play it and you own an actual physical copy of the game, so to speak, you're not allowed to share your account because you can and will probably get banned. Like that's
Yeah, that is in their terms of service.
yeah.
But that's not quite the same level. Well, like I said, if it's here, it's not. We don't have our social security numbers connected to our accounts online, so it's not quite the same.
Mm-hmm. No, there's an extra layer of that. But like, for example, if I needed to recover my account, I would have to send a copy of my driver's license to Blizzard to prove that this was actually my account.
Yeah,
That's a thing you absolutely have to do.
yeah, but that's not Blizzard saying we own your identity. Though, I'll say that.
Yeah, that is true. I'll give you that.
But I mean, I think it makes a little more sense for an ongoing service like that. But the thing is, they've made the same claims over games that don't have an online component. So, but I mean, I guess that's an entire conversation in itself. But I just have to say, yeah, I mean, I tend to think about the implications of laws, and I don't like the implications of the South Korean law.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a sticky situation. I'll give you that. That just seemed kind of weird, if you will. Like, I don't know. I don't like the idea of having my social security number tied to a game account to begin with.
Yeah.
That's
I don't either.
really fucking weird.
I don't either. I don't either.
Especially
I think
with the hacking and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that. Unless, you know what? Even unless I wouldn't get like I'd write my address and all that stuff because I have to on there. Well, you do when you register for some accounts, unless you have a PO box.
I use
Yeah.
Visa pay cards for those frequently.
Well,
Or
yeah.
PayPal.
If you had to use a PayPal, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I just don't. Yeah, I don't trust some of these companies anymore with my stuff. Look how Sony literally shit the bed a few years ago when it came to that stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Look at
All those-
Bethesda fucking 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Just gave everybody else's information.
Yeah.
So-
Actually, once we finish this up, that's a little something I heard apparently now is that apparently there's another leak going on with customer information on the actual Atom store, but that's unconfirmed right now. So I can't say that's confirmed yet, but that's what I was reading online the other day.
Typically don't deal in rumors.
So
we need to move on for the sake of time, and none of us are lawyers, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, speaking of lawyers, actually, the Facebook Oculus versus ZeniMax lawsuit is officially over. We talked about this a long time ago and haven't talked about it since. If you remember correctly, ZeniMax won the original round of that, was awarded $500 million. It then got whittled down to $250 million, and now both companies have appealed and whatever it enough times that they are settling some version out of court. Yeah.
the end of an era.
Yeah, it's good that came to a close. That sounded like an incredibly messy situation. I mean, I don't think either of them really wanted to go to court. They both wanted to settle.
Yeah.
And because the whole thing, I don't think they would have wanted it to go to court because it sounds like a serious snafu, a serious tangle of
ZeniMax won, and then the appeals began.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, I don't think they wanted to go through it in completely new process because the whole ownership of the whole thing is, and just all of it, the whole thing is just questions. Yeah. It's a mess, so it's good that it's over.
It was great for Vive sales, because for a while it looked like Oculus might not exist in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moving on from that. You can now officially buy gold in Red Dead Redemption 2's online system. No surprise there. I think the game is still listed as a beta, so I'm a little surprised that we already have in-game currency buyable. We're not even officially out of the beta, and especially because they keep readjusting the economy for that game pretty aggressively.
Well, on top of that, they did mention that any progress you make in the beta will carry on.
Oh yeah, no,
I believe we talked about that.
It's more any time that DLC and stuff is released for a fucking it's like no, you can't release microtransactions until you've actually released the game. In my opinion, I know people do it all the fucking time, but still, it's like this is gross.
Yeah.
What's that spaceship company that you want?
Oh, it's gross. About? Yeah.
Yeah. Tell them that.
I do. Whenever we bring up Star Citizen, like I feel bad I've bought into that game I feel bad every time I mention it. Like, I'm like, no, just don't do what I did.
Yeah.
But also, I own a spaceship at least. This is gold bars that you're going to spend for currency.
Yeah. So at least yeah. It being still in, well, at least the online still in beta, that's pretty gross, honestly. That's just like, you couldn't make it any more blatant than that. I mean, it's not like we're fools here and we're, people got to make money, but yeah. Before asking people for money for an unfinished product, I mean, if you went to a dealership and they gave you half of a car, how happy would you be?
Yeah.
Or if it was just missing half the doors, just half the doors. Yep.
See, if you wanted a real life example of how there's DLC for cars, all you have to do is look at the model versions for the Tesla S model.
Mm.
Have you heard about that by any
chance? No, I don't follow Tesla news.
No.
So the base model of the Tesla gives you a certain range and power and all that.
Yeah.
Oh, we did talk about this.
When you upgrade, you get a longer range on the exact same hardware that you already have.
And they can remotely unlock it too.
Yep. So I think it was during one of the... Oh, also the charging. You technically have the hardware built into your car for the super fast charging, but unless you paid for that upgrade on your S or your Model S, you can't access it even though it's already built into the car. So you could later on buy it technically, and it would upgrade your current car. So it's like in-disc DLC, if you will, for a car. So that already exists. That is not new.
Yeah. Well, I mean, back if you go to shareware, that was basically the idea of shareware. Here's this game that basically works, but we haven't included most of the levels.
Yeah.
So, and I guess to rewind back to the story, like to be fair to Rockstar, they have been fixing the economy some. The gold's no longer mandatory. But my gut reaction is like still a bunch of the stuff you'd want in that game is gold purchase only. You can get gold in the game through a variety of activities. Like it's not locked away entirely, but I have the issue where my character's still too fucking low a level to buy anything I want. Yeah, I more of a not in beta. We're already selling like basically shark cards all over again. That's what it is.
Oh yeah, and shark cards still makes Rockstar fucking money right now.
I would throw down that I'm not sure there's as much to buy in Red Dead Redemption as there was in Grand Theft Auto Online, but that's a whole separate topic. It's not yet. Guess we're still kind of on money. Let's talk about Discord quickly. Discord is officially opening up their little store they have, which I forgot existed till this article popped up, with a 90-10 developer split. For those keeping track, that's 2% more than Epic Games came out with last week.
A race to the bottom?
I'm kind of okay with this to a certain extent, but...
Yeah. I just don't think that... I don't know how tenable it is. It's a lot of trouble to house any sort of online store, and... I don't want it to sync Discord.
Well, and I think the argument there is like Discord. I don't know how Discord made money previously.
Yeah.
Well, you had the Nitro package thing. I actually subscribed to the Nitro thing. So
no, but my point being like it was making money already, and I think it's pulling the Epic Games approach where it's like, yo, we're already making money off some other stuff. We can like actually, maybe just host at cost.
But but Discord, the thing is, like, they aren't nearly the size of Epic. Epic is massive at this point, and especially with Fortnite bankrolling them.
Yeah.
They could afford to just drop a bunch of money to lose money for a while. I'm not sure that Discord can afford to lose money for a while.
Who knows on this one? I think it's also the 70-30 split that was previous. Like, both companies have come out and said it doesn't cost 30%. Like, that number is too big.
But But 90-10 seems too small.
Who the fuck knows? I keep waiting for a company to come out and be like 99 1% and be like, okay, why?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I mean, that's the thing. It's I like Discord, and I don't want to see it wrecked because they kind of didn't realize just how much trouble is going to be to house an online store. I mean, that's the thing is like, you know, I'm a dev and I've done a lot of web work, like full stack dev work, and running something like an online store, and you know, beyond just the server costs, just making sure the system itself is good and secure. That's a process all of its own. So I mean, I don't want it to sink Discord because 90-10 seems small.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you on this one. I think it's also I don't know how much Discord makes on a daily basis just by being Discord, and it might be as simple as we're covering this really at cost from our perspective.
Yeah,
and we will see. It definitely feels like a race towards the bottom at this point, as you said, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like I always think people should compensate for their work. So.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I absolutely want people to be compensated for their work. But, you know, there's people working at Discord too.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they're doing fine though too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that, but
well, I guess this is a bad transition. Speaking of people getting paid for their work, the GWU, Gamers Workers Unite, is the first official union in the gaming industry. It comes to us out of the UK. Which has had a variety of conversations about that, letting back a couple years at this point.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Beautiful news. I've been talking about this personally for a long time, even though I haven't been the one to try to start one myself. But, yeah, this is something I have been wanting very, very badly. I mean, in case anybody is unfamiliar with the plight of the developer, I mean, you can look up the news. It's pretty easy to see how basically, I mean, the work that's just expected of developers. I mean, expected to do, you know, 90 to 120 20-hour work weeks. Mm-hmm. You know, 120 hours working work week, you know. Like at 90 to 120, that's with no overtime, no extra pay, no profit sharing, nothing. I mean, you'll sacrifice your life and your health to put out a AAA game, and you'll make your, you know, $60K, and the game will make billions, and you were just expected to put out that 120-hour weeks and grind and make them that billions of dollars, and then don't really receive any of it, and maybe get laid off. And so right now, I do think that, you know, it badly needed, not just needed, badly, really, really badly needed.
So, and building off what you just said, the key goals, if you will, of the GWU are to end the institutionalized practice of unpaid overtime, improve diversity and the inclusion at all levels, support abused or harassed workers, and secure an actual living wage in a steady fashion for its members. All things that, you know, most unions that are not being corrupt and stuff are going after. So hopefully this becomes the norm in a somewhat timely manner.
Like, for instance, I know people that are electricians and that are part of that union, and it's a fantastic union.
Some might say
the electricians union. Yeah, but it's a really good one. It treats its members very well. Like, it supports them well. I mean, and it's guaranteed them a lot of things that you should have as a worker. And I hope that catches on here. I'm not super optimistic, but hopefully people look at that and see that it's possible.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, it's time for our contentious news of the week, if you will. Kind of, we could use our transition of GW as a good transition point and go into our news about Riot's COO, or we could go to our man on the Blizzard streets, Alex, and have him give us a rundown of all the fun stuff coming out of Blizzard this week. Which would you two rather go with?
let's start with Riot. That
Okay.
sounds like a fresh one.
Yeah.
Let's do this. All right, so
Terror.
where to even start with this one? So we've talked in the past about kind of the shocker that is Riot Games maybe having a bit of a corporate toxic culture, and that fixers have been brought in, and there's been a whole kind of top-down analysis of the corporate structuring and the corporate culture, and lots of other jargony words that may or may not mean anything. But so last week, as of this podcast going up, Riot's COO, Scott Gelb, I hope I pronounced that right, has been suspended without pay for just being a real juvenile asshole, it seems.
Like, and I think that it doesn't even hit it to even call it juvenile. It's just, I mean, a juvenile, yes, definitely part of it. Terrible and juvenile.
Oh yeah, no,
I think
that's not meant to
covers it.
downplay. This is more like it's the
Yeah.
We're gonna kind of fully into the details. It's been unpaid unpaid leave or training for. He's out for 2 months. A lot of people are upset that's not long enough. They want him gone. And this guy's list of crimes, like you hear lots of crazy stuff going on these days of people stealing billions of dollars and like wrecking company cars or throwing sharks at people or whatever. No, this is some shit you'd expect from either a 5-year-old or a frat house. And it's just kind of...
Yeah.
Like, every time we try and step away from, like, the gaming industry is this kind of bro-centric thing, fucking Riot comes up and goes, but what if it was? So...
Yeah. Oh. Awful.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at what the allegations here are, and they are... all right, so I'm going to say straight
just
up.
run through the list.
If he would have done any of that to me, I would have punched him straight up in the face. I would have just literally knocked him out in the hall where he stood. And that's not me talking macho or something. It's like, things are that, when we start describing that, you'll hear
Let's
why
do the list. It's a
I would
great
react.
list of, like, what the fuck, don't you grow out of this behavior? So, allegedly this guy was involved in ball tapping, as in flicking or slapping employees' testicles, farting on people, humping them for, quote, comedic effect. Just, yeah!
What is wrong with this guy? I mean...
Sack tap? That's classic.
See, straight up, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Straight up, you do that to me, you will be unconscious. Not because I'm a macho tough guy, it's because...
touched my balls!
What are you doing? What's wrong with you? What is your major malfunction? I mean,
Like,
seriously.
Okay. So, between friends that I've known for a long ass time, we may sack tap every once in a while. I don't do that shit at work. I don't know you
my
like
God.
that.
So before we
noise.
descend into the kind of inherent humor of this aspect, there's also allegations of a variety of sexist behavior and all the other kind of stuff you come to expect from the situation, which is all equally terrible.
Yeah.
But the fact that, like, some dude doing shit I haven't thought was funny since I was 7 years old is big gaming news is fucking insane.
That he's their COO. That he's an executive. That means you're on the what you call the executives. This is the guy at the top of the company doing this. That is literally the worst. That is awful. That is awful, unexcusable behavior. And not surprising. I wish I could say I was shocked, but oh gosh.
Like, it's this bizarre one where at one point I'm like, really? This is what we're going after? But also it's like, really? This is still a thing when you're not past, like, 12?
Yeah, I mean, literally reading that, I was like, what?
I read the article we're kind of pulling off of at lunch. I got halfway through it, and I'm like, man, I am reading about someone who I'm assuming is at least 30, going around grabbing the balls of his employees and thinking it's funny. Yeah, this is real. This is a real thing I'm reading. Like, I kept looking for, like, the Onion or Clickhole logo on it or something, being like, this has to be fake.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's so terrible. I mean, but worst is, as you kind of alluded to earlier, the worst part is he's getting a slap on the wrist for this.
Yeah.
2-month unpaid leave, which means 2-month vacation, As an executive, you know he was raking it in anyway, so that's not
Yeah.
going to hurt him.
And it's not.
Now he just has no responsibilities
And he's
for
not
2
getting
months.
paid, but I'm sure he has like stock in the company or something at this point. Like, and
Well, I mean, he has
Yeah.
however much he's been making per year as it is, which is probably a
Yeah.
good bit as an executive. And so it's not like that 2 months is going to hurt him. It's like, ooh, that is it means 2 months that he doesn't have to be responsible for anything. It is a 2-month vacation.
yeah, and on top of this, like, this is where it gets nutty. It's not like this has been like the last 5 years have been bad. Apparently, like, the reports of this go back to the founding of Riot.
Yes. I mean, and alright, so even worse, I mean, there are people, of course, trying to excuse this, saying that, oh, it's too much. No! What? I mean, this is beyond the pale. I mean, somebody doing that level of things, there's no sort of excuse for sexual harassment, period. There just isn't. There's no level. There's no gray area for me. There's like, if you don't know the difference between sexual harassment and not sexual harassment, then you got some things to learn. You just got to grow up, because it's really, really easy to tell the difference. Like, I mean, and that's not like something accident or something. This isn't like something that you might think, oh well, he's just a certain way. He's just he's just friendly. You just mistake him that way. He was, he like taps somebody on the shoulder. This isn't him tapping somebody on the shoulder and them freaking out. This is him touching people's genitals.
Yeah.
That's and sorry, that's not something that I'm like, it's not a big deal if he just, no, come on. He should be fired. He should be fired, and he should be
And
blacklisted
that's the general
from
consensus
companies.
of most of the Riot employees. Like, a lot of people have kind of gotten out there, and if they've done it anonymously out of fear of repercussions, but they've said stuff ranging from, I'll quote this exactly, I think it's pretty telling that Riot's commitment to changing their culture only goes so far as firing people who aren't already insulated from the repercussions of that culture. Basically, they'll happily let you go so long as you're not part of the in crowd.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's for someone who believes like the video game industry is growing up. Every once in a while, we get a story like this, and I just go, "Man, set the clock back to 0."
Yeah,
But see, you guys,
days since gaming did something completely embarrassingly juvenile.
Yeah.
0.
you guys don't understand. He's never known the difference between right and wrong. It's wrong of us to judge him in the sense because he doesn't know any better. Okay, affluenza is a real disease, and there are plenty of people who suffer from it every year. We should be coming down on the rich and powerful like that, guys. They don't know the difference. They don't know any better. Okay, so you guys need to get off his back and just reinstate him, and then just be like, hey, next time don't do that thing. Okay.
Yeah. In case anybody didn't get that, was with a massive side of snark.
What? Never. You don't get snark from me. Never.
Never.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Affluenza's real.
I still can't believe that this wasn't. Honestly, this wasn't a Onion article.
I looked at other articles to kind of substantiate this, and like the prevailing feeling on this is like we're being punked, right? Like it's like we're gonna take this seriously, but really,
Yeah.
it's like local man throws self into Shark Tank, was surprised when sharks ate him. It's like, this is a fake article, right? Like this is obviously a joke. Oh no, this is real. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Alex, Blizzard time.
Yeah, buddy. So, Blizzard has recently announced that they are shifting up a little bit of their resources and things like that.
Streamlining the process, if you will.
Yes, they are moving on to a long-term sustainability, aka your game is now in maintenance.
Or we're only
Lol.
going to focus on shit that's making us money right now.
Yep. So, Heroes of the Storm has a lot of resources getting pulled and hard. So, next year there will be no Heroes of the Storm esports, no Heroes of the Storm Global Championship Series, and no more Heroes of the Dorm, which I thought was actually really cool. Did you guys ever watch Heroes of the Dorm or know
Nope.
of it by any chance?
So
Nope.
when I heard they were kind of ending the esports leagues, my immediate reaction was there was an esports league for Heroes of the Storm, and then you said there were two, and I'm like, there was two?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Here's some of the shitty stuff that's going on. So the blog post comes out recently talking about how it'll get regular updates, but they're pulling devs away from that team to work on other projects, aka their mobile platforms, which I'm already guessing is what it is. So first of all, good job. It's a really good idea when you're really under the scope for optics about you pulling away resources from your main PC games for fucking mobile games, and then you say, hey, so we're pulling people out of here into this. That's number one. Number two, they're canceling the esports stuff, which, okay, fine, I get it. But here's the thing. You know when those esports people found out they weren't going to have a job next year? The same time that fucking blog post went out. So they knew nothing of all this stuff. Blizzard literally just released this and put this out. And so all these people were caught off guard, which means all these streamers that are, stream this game as part of their career or their job. There's the pro players. They knew nothing about this, which is really disturbing given the fact that they were quoted at BlizzCon saying that there's a lot of really cool stuff down the pipeline for 2019 for Heroes of the Storm, and they're still supporting it and doing stuff and this and that. So literally all these fucking people got fired at the same fucking time they announced this shit.
Gosh.
Okay? So they're pulling away developers. They basically have honestly flat out just fired a bunch of people.
Wow.
All these pro teams are dead.
Yep.
And they're just like, hey, we're just kind of reshifting things like that. Don't worry. Like, first of all, did you guys ever read the statement? Did you guys read the blog post by any chance?
No.
Let me find it
No.
here.
Okay.
So-
You follow
yeah.
Blizzard stuff far closer than I do.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's fitting. Let's see. Despite the change, Heroes of the Storm remains our love letter to Blizzard's worlds and characters. We'll continue actively supporting the game with new heroes, themed events, and other content that our community loves. Though the cadence will change. Ultimately, we're setting up the game for long-term sustainability, aka whatever's there is there. You'll get new character updates here and there, but we're not doing shit for it, so still pay us money for this game. The support community has shown from the beginning, and the development team will continue to support Heroes in the same passion, dedication, and creativity that has made the game such a unique experience, despite the fact that we're pulling all these developers off the thing. So yeah, don't worry, you'll still be getting the same passion, dedication, and creativity, despite the fact that we're pulling all the developers, or a good chunk of the developers, off the fucking team. Yeah, no, that sounds about right. Good job, Blizzard.
How do you feel about skins?
Wow.
Getting skins.
Oh, don't worry, you'll get skins. Yeah,
This
you'll get
is kind of like the equivalent of your older brother is sitting on top of you and slapping you or tickling you or hitting you in the chest saying, you like that? You like that? You're gonna like it. You're gonna take that and like it. You like it, don't you? You take that and like it, Blizzard fans. Ha ha. They just keep punching you in the face and you keep coming back for more. And it is a endless source of mirth for me.
Yeah. So basically, hey, yeah, no, we're kind of getting rid of all that, and a lot of the actual people who were involved in playing Heroes of the Storm doing all that stuff are flat out like, hey, you know what? Fuck you, Blizzard. Like,
I'm not gonna play
what
Dota.
is it? Yeah. There's let's see. Here's a pinned tweet from Hotspro and current streamer. And I quote, this is the streamer, so just letting you know, fuck you, honestly. Working 6 hard months with new fantastic teammates for the shit radio silence for weeks. I sent multiple emails and all I got back was they were working on finalizing the details. AKA, yeah, you know what? Sure, you're a pro player for our game and you're representative, but you're not really making us any money, so you guys can go fuck yourself. Yeah, no,
Yep.
Okay. Cool. I appreciate that, Blizzard. Good job. I love that, Blizzard, I genuinely think all these companies are competing to be who can be the biggest tone-deaf morons right now when it
And
comes to
still
PR
make
and
money.
being connected. Yeah.
And
This
still make
just-
money.
This just absolutely fucking proves without a shadow of a doubt that they are absolutely disconnected, and the Activision virus has absolutely seeped into Blizzard. Blizzard is a shell of a former company, as far as I'm concerned. Let's be fucking real here. the Blizzard of a few years ago, which I would give credit to before, is not the Blizzard now. And it makes sense considering recently they've talked about how they had a new CFO show up or something like that. That was from Activision, and their number one priority was, we need to cut money, or we need to cut costs. So, taking people away from teams like this, gutting the Diablo team, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago, absolutely feels like Blizzard, Activision is very much true. People should stop calling it Blizzard and call it what it is, Activision Blizzard. It's not Blizzard Entertainment anymore, it's Activision Blizzard, because Activision is basically turned Blizzard into its bitch. Like, let's be 100% honest here. And, with the new president, or the old president leaving, and this new guy is the same guy who told people, you don't think you want that. Like, you think you want that, but you don't. Like, this is the same guy from before. He's a fucking talking head. He's only there because he's willing to get paid to have a shit-eating grin and take it. So, anyway. Yeah, so, it's just, it's really shitty because somebody actually went back and looked at like their core pillars of like Blizzard values, and like not telling the players that people like this, like you're flat out just canceling everything. That's super fucking shitty. Like, if you're gonna cut it out, fight. That's fine. I get it. Cut costs. That makes sense. You're a company. You're supposed to make money. But like, you've been leading people on for fucking months, saying, "Hey, no, yeah, we've got other stuff working on." Even at BlizzCon, they're like, yeah, no, we've got new stuff down the pipeline. It'll be great.
We still very much care about this game. We obviously don't care about anymore.
Yeah, pretty much. So, yeah. It's a doozy. So
is that our only Blizzard news this week?
Oh, no. So this past week we had Tides of Vengeance hit. And it is amazing.
Explain these Tides of Vengeance to me. What is, in theory, the Tides of Vengeance? Are they a low tide, a high tide?
You know what? Tide goes in, tide goes out. You can't explain that. So, and it's fitting because Blizzard can't seem to explain what's really going on with their stuff. It's so bad that there's an official thread going around with the undocumented changes that were made to actual big game mechanics in the live server now for Blizzard's for World of Warcraft. By the way, we were switching over to World of Warcraft, and nobody knew what we were referencing here. So, Tides of Vengeance is a new patch that just hit. It's supposed to lead us into all the big changes and things like that are going on into the new raid tier, pretty much, which won't be opening till about January anyway. So, the patch notes go out, and people jump on, and first of all, there's a fuck ton of bugs that are already in the game. In fact, I encountered a really interesting one last night, because there's a world quest you do where you're supposed to loot boxes, and you're supposed to sack an alliance ship, kill a couple, like, special named characters, and you're supposed to loot 6 battle plans from chest boxes. Except none of the chest boxes work, so you can't even finish the quest. So... Yep, good job, Liz. Appreciate that one.
So, what do you do in that instance? Like, how?
You just fucking skip it. You can't do anything. It's a world quest, so it wasn't like a mandatory in order for you to proceed with the actual game itself. But it's one of the quests that's available, but at that point, well, all the other quests now become mandatory because this one doesn't work.
Wow.
So, yeah. And, yeah, I saw the postings and everything, and it's like, yeah, But then again, I mean, like... I am shitting on Blizzard pretty hard, or Activision Blizzard pretty hard. They are a small indie company. They're not expected to keep up with these AAA companies like GGG and things like that. So it makes perfect sense. So between that, the thing I was talking about was there's a whole huge thing of undocumented changes that I talked about. Stuff that actually breaks a lot of current strategies and things like that for like dungeon runs and Mythic and things like that. Like, it's just flat out, yeah, no. So, one of the big examples. So, rogues have this ability called Shroud, Shroud of Concealment, which basically gives you a giant AoE bubble of stealth that you can give your team so you can skip over certain mobs.
Yeah.
That's kind of how it works. And so, this new update made it so that certain mobs that everybody hated fucking doing because they're a pain in the ass to pull anyway, one of the mobs now has True Sight, so you can't skip it anymore. Which obviously breaks any current records that people have for Mythic Plus runs on this, because now you have to do those mobs. So that changes that, especially with the rankings in terms of the dungeon pulls A. And there's just this huge list of undocumented changes that looks like it's almost like comparable to the list of changes that were actually published by Blizzard. And it's like they did a developer Q&A and they're like, yeah, so we made that change a couple months ago and somebody forgot to put in the notes, so we just kind of forgot. Yeah, so it's like, no, guys, like, it's just, this is shit that a big AAA company should not be doing.
Yeah.
The fact that the community has to put together a whole separate list of undocumented changes just so people have a reference point to see what's going on is kind of a big deal. Then there's bugs they introduced to classes they weren't even touching. Like, rogues lost this whole valuable part of a talent that was meant for a good DPS increase. It was basically there's a talent that when you vanish and pop Garrote, you get an 8% damage boost from vanish, because you're supposed to get it from stealth, but they broke it so that it works from stealth but not vanish for some reason. So it's things like that that's just it's stupid. Like, it's super fucking frustrating to say the least. But like, the fact that there's I think it's like a WoW Wikipedia that there's an entire page, a Wikipedia page dedicated to unreleased changes or unannounced changes for this patch is fucking stupid.
Wow.
Like, let me see.
And the fail just keeps rolling on.
So it's kind of weird where, like, so I tapped out of playing World of Warcraft very early on again in Battle for Azeroth, and I remember when I was playing Battle of Azeroth, stuff felt weird. Like, this very much felt like hey, if we can just get people back, things will be fine. And it worked briefly, but I know, like, you coming off of Legion were in a super good place, and like, the entire time I was playing Battle for Azeroth, at least for someone who's coming back to World of Warcraft, there was this very bizarre feeling of like, okay, what's going on? Because this isn't as good an expansion as I've been led to believe Legion was, and I don't know. Like, it was almost like it had so many things you always wanted World of Warcraft to have all of a sudden, where it's like, hey, we're going to go back to it being the Alliance versus the Horde, even though we haven't done that since, I don't know, Burning Crusade, really? In a serious lore standpoint, it's like, hey, you like Cthulhian monsters? We're doubling down Cthulhian monsters. You know how some people hate the weird, like, Titan shit? Yeah, we're moving away from the Titan shit, kind of. The dragons have been gone for a while. This is what you wanted, right? Right? Yeah, It's really weird, because I know, like, at first you were like, maybe you're being too hard, but the entire time I was playing that, I could not shake this feeling of it was a game out of touch with its community, where it's like, okay, this is an expansion kind of made for people like me that tapped out of this game, but I don't think this is a good expansion. It's not going to make me play WoW that much longer. Like, I'll play a month or two, and I'll go back to not playing this game ever again.
Like, it's just, there's some really weird tone deaf stuff.
No,
like,
yeah. That's what I'm getting at.
Go
like,
ahead, sorry.
It felt tone deaf. Like, it was one of those ones where it was like, it was the facade of, hey, look, we're doing the things we haven't done since, like, way back when in World of Warcraft lore. But as someone who hasn't been playing World of Warcraft for a while, I'm like, nah, I know what this game was like in the parts you're invoking. This isn't that. I remember vanilla fondly, and nah. I'm not thinking about stabbing someone I pass in the street wearing an Alliance shirt.
Yeah, no, this is just, it's weird. Like, they even professions in this expansion are fucking stupid. Like, unless you're an alchemist, none of the other professions are really worth it at this point.
Yeah.
Like, so, professions like, let's say, for example, tailoring. You would make cloth gear. You can sell that cloth gear, that's really good, at a profit. But now it requires that in order for you to wear the really high-end cloth gear, you need to have that profession in order to wear it. But all the other gear you can make is only entry level.
That's weird.
It's stupid. Like, the moment the new patch comes out, or the new a new accelerated level, all that gear is worthless. So you literally means you're not going to be making any kind of money. Unless, again, you are an alchemist.
That's hilarious.
It's just, I don't know. Like, there's a big rumor that talks about that there are technically two teams that switch back and forth between run or creating the expansions for WoW. So you have the team that worked on Wrath technically should have also worked on, I believe it was Mist of Pandaria. And then after Mist, I believe they worked on, was it Legion? I think so, because I think those are the expansions. And so that's Team A, right?
Okay.
Team B is the one that works in between, and Team B has been known to have really shitty sounding expansions, because that means the team that would have worked on B would have been the ones that worked on Cataclysm, and would have been the ones that worked on Draenor, and also the one that worked on Battle for Azeroth.
Wow. So they really are the B team, aren't they?
It's a rumor. I don't know if that's true. That's why I'm just saying it now. But it just seems like this is very much that, like, they try to squash the rumor saying, hey, like, this isn't really a thing. A lot of our teams work on multiple things. That's what we do. But it's like the quality really fucking shows between expansions. Like, people really loved, like, I got a genuinely good feel from Legion. I really enjoyed Legion. But
so
like,
I guess to bring up an unpopular theory that you were not such a big fan of when I brought it up, like, as someone who played, I guess, the first 2 expansions of WoW and tapped out when Pandaria wasn't looking. Sorry, it was Cataclysm wasn't looking all that promising. I didn't enjoy Lich King that much. Lich King, as an outside observer, definitely for this stuff, I don't remember what I played at this point initially. It always seemed like you had vanilla WoW. Then you had Burning Crusade, that, like, there was no expansion, so it was like, oh, it's the first expansion, whatever. And then you had Wrath of the Lich King, which was undefendably good. Like, it stood on its own as like, nah, this is the thing people wanted. As someone who used to play lots of Warcraft 3, it was the end to the Warcraft 3 story I wanted.
Yeah.
The fact that they then had to basically reboot the world to give themselves more space for story always sat weirdly with me. It was kind of okay, you're moving into territory that, like, I get it. I know I'm hard on the dragon stuff from that game and how much I fucking hate it, but, like, it's not as good as Arthas and the Lich King and all that jazz. I'll stand by that. So then you had Cataclysm, which, again, I heard a lot of things, most of them not so nice, and I'm like, okay, yes, it's like Burning Crusade, which was not as good as was not as good as Vanilla, but then Wrath of the Lich King was good. And then you had Pandera, which I got the impression was polarizing for people, but was better than Cataclysm. It was kind of up there in that, like, people dug it in the same way they dug Wrath of the Lich King, because it was about Pandarans, that kind of group that a lot of people gave a flying fuck about still.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah.
Yeah, there's also this weird hindsight of, like, so one of the things that Blizzard talked about adding in 8.1.5 is a portal room in the capital cities. So, like, for example, right now you have a couple different, like, central hubs that have portals. So, for example, the Shrine of the Seven something, I think, for the Horde has a bunch of portals that lead to different parts of the game.
As
right?
it should.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, you know, Dalaran has their portals and all this other stuff. Like, that's how it works. So, Blizzard removed a lot of those portals in this new patch.
Why?
So they got rid of hold on. They removed a lot of the portals in anticipation for the new portal room, which isn't coming out until a patch later. So let's just let this sink in. You're adding a new portal room, but you're removing in the future, but you're removing the portals now. This is the kind of shit that's just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's also a certain level of why bother taking out the portals. Like, for better or worse, and I think for worse, Dalaran is a thing that acts as a hub city. I fucking hate Dalaran, but that's a whole separate topic.
Mm-hmm. And so I guess the other one I'll touch on is the Azerite stuff, because that's always been really popular. Yeah. So currently the system is you level up your neck piece, and you unlock certain traits in your Azerite gear. That's how it works. So, what they've done now is, ever since a few weeks ago, they've added a mechanic built into it so that every week, the amount of Azerite power you need to get to the next level is slightly less. It's a good thing for alts, so they can catch up, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So every week they do this. But it just so happens this week, it stopped. They're no longer reducing the amount of Azerite power needed for that. And so they're like, well, we want you to make sure that you still kind of don't go too far ahead and have a cap on that, because we want you to start working on that stuff when the new raid tier comes out in January. So they're technically time gating the one mechanic you have to go through anyway to use the gear traits built into the Azerite armor. You need to have your neck at a certain level in order for you to use Azerite traits. But the problem is they're now time gating the amount of Azerite power needed in order to get to that level, which means you'll still have to grind out Azerite power when the new patch hits in order to unlock traits, by the way, you've already had access to before. Because the way it works is you need X amount of Azerite power for, let's say your chest piece has four Azerite rings. You need X amount of levels to get to each trait down there. And it starts from the outer ring in. The new gear for the next coming raid will have the new ring on the outer ring, on the outermost part. So you'll be getting those traits right away. But the traits you've already had for a while, you now have to start working for to unlock again. Power that nobody really likes to do anyway. So at this point, people don't grind it out because it's fucking stupid. And so in order for you to use traits you've already had unlocked from current gear, you have to start grinding it out again. And they've stopped the threshold, or at least the reducing in AP needed as the weeks go on to do it. And they didn't tell anyone about it. And their excuse was like, well, in Legion we did that. But it's like, yeah, but in Legion you told us from day one, you can get to this level, and then you have to wait for this amount of patch to start doing that again. There was nothing, no communication at all. And it's funny because they talk about, well, we're working on getting better about communication. It's like, yeah, you guys have said that the last 2 dev QAs and this and that, but you've shown absolutely nothing. If anything, you've gotten fucking worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
So needless to say, also the enhanced shaman changes are garbage and dog shit, and they don't know what they're doing.
And on a high note, huh?
On the plus side, Elemental Shaman is kind of fun. And so that's what I'm playing now on the Shaman because, Blizzard doesn't know what the fuck they're doing with Enhanced.
Alex, I speak for our fan base and a variety of other people saying, I think it's time you stop playing World of Warcraft.
No, that's the problem. I can't. I am forever stuck in this stupid
better
fucking
MMOs
loop.
out there.
I've been playing through Final Fantasy 14.
Come play Terra with me and
so
Henry. I reinstalled Terra on my laptop.
Yeah.
Come play with us. It's fun.
Yeah, I'll start a new character.
I'll start a character again.
Yeah.
I may have to, but as much as I complain and bitch about it, I'm not going to do anything about it because I am Stockholm Syndrome to fucking
okay, Alex. Just cancel your billing for a couple months.
It just renewed today for another 6 months.
So, at the end of this podcast, go cancel the billing. Go cancel the billing. Enjoy your last month with it. Start off the new year fresh.
Yeah.
But it's already been renewed for another 6 months. It literally renewed this morning.
Cancel it. They'll
charge
give you some of that money back.
That's too much work.
Do I need to fly to Portland and help you?
I'm forever Stockholm Syndrome to this company.
Put your girlfriend on the podcast. We'll help you through this, Alex. We're here for you.
Yeah. This is the podcast intervention.
This whole podcast has actually been a lead up to us helping you get out of World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
I've actually put these episodes up. Henry is a trained addiction therapist.
Oddly enough, we do know somebody that is.
Yeah, we do. Jim,
Yeah, Dr. Jim.
Was that all you got left to say? Is that all our news from the street on Blizzard, Alex?
I guess. I'm just waiting to hear what else they're going to cut next. Hearthstone will be around because it makes them money. I don't know. I wonder. So Blizzard this week seemed to shit the bed really well. I'm wondering what Fallout will do to counteract that because I think they're competing for shittiest PR disaster of the year between the two.
Yeah.
EA has had it for a long time. They've held the mantle, if you will. They're very much the MVPs of shitty PR when it comes to gaming. Shout outs to Battlefield 2, or Battlefront 2 rather. But anyway, I don't know. I feel like they're competing, and I look forward to seeing who comes out on top by being the most on the bottom. So,
fair enough. To end this news segment on a bit more of a up note, funnier note, I guess, versus that whole emotional thing we just went through. We're gonna do a small reminder that if you're listening to this podcast, if you're on this podcast, or even aware of this podcast, you know significantly more about video games than the average person. And what do I have to back this up? A high schooler drew a Super Smash Bros. Logo on a whiteboard, and then the authorities had to investigate. Because, it looks like a crosshair.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'm looking at it.
To be fair, okay, so we're playing this up some for kind of comedic effect, but the picture that set this whole off is if you saw a picture that just says December 7th, time to circle with a crosshair in it, given the current state of things in the U.S., I'm not totally sure I'd come to a different assumption, except I know what Super Smash Brothers is.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder. I bet it was one of the cops that was like, "That's the Smash Brothers logo."
Quite possibly.
Because a lot of people play. They're like, probably literally one of the cops looked at it and was like, "That's the Smash Brothers logo."
Or they're like, "We need to."
Yeah.
Or it's like, "Oh shit, it's just gonna go down." What do you mean? We'll see you in Ultimate.
Yeah.
Right. By the way, I feel like I really hope that it's also related somehow to these cops. That I don't know if you saw it, but there was a post on Reddit about there were these cops that were called to a noise
Yes,
complaint
I did see that one.
at a house.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And they were playing Smash Brothers, and the cops got in on it, and so you see like a 2v2 between two police officers and two kids. That I think that's my high note for the week.
That's amazing. That's fantastic. Yeah.
Gaming related, that's my high note. Obviously,
I heard
have
about
other
that
high
too.
notes, but yeah,
that's
my gaming high note. So my sister having her first kid, that's like second. But this
that's
Smash
on a
brings people
gaming
together.
high note.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's in second. So if you're listening, Lola, I just want to let you know your kid is probably the second best thing to happen.
Fair? Yeah, it's...
I'm kidding. I love you, Lola.
Yeah, this is a weird article because it's not really gaming news, but it's also like, we occasionally, I think, assume on this podcast that people know a lot more about gaming than maybe they necessarily do. Again, if you're listening to this, you're tapped into a lot more of this shit than the average person is. It's very easy to judge people for being like, oh, you're still doing X or whatever. No, you listen to three nerds right now fight about video games for 2 to 3 hours a week, every week, hypothetically.
Yeah.
A, what the fuck's wrong with you? B, thank you for doing that. C, you listen to three nerds fight about video games for several hours a week, and we're probably not the only nerds that you listen to do this.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah.
But we appreciate you letting us nerds be in your life.
We take the death clock approach to our fandom.
Mhm.
You fans out there, give us more than just subscriber counts. You give us something to hate.
Yeah. You give us someone to appreciate where we channel our hate.
But yeah, no more to that than just given the times, maybe make it. It was one of those things where my girlfriend said to me, and I'm like, this is going in the podcast because this is ridiculous and wholesome and tragic and yeah. Listener mail.
All right.
Hey, Henry, if you wanted to contact us, how would you go about doing that?
That would be the wickedawesomecast@gmail.com.
What's that email again, Alex?
Wickedawesomecast at gmail.com.
I regret having you go second. Oh, God, why do I not learn these things? Would someone please email me at wickedawesomecast@gmail.com to remind me not to ever let you go second ever again. It's definitely down in the show notes, spelled as it sounds, etc., etc. Oh! My brain. Continuing our wholesome train, though. Dear Wicked Awesome Cast, if you were to make a gamer gift guide, what would be on it? From Carlos.
A gamer gift guide?
I don't know, like a holiday gift guide, I guess.
Okay.
Oh, a gift. I heard gift.
Sorry,
GIF.
Oh, gift. A guide to the gifts on the internet.
Well, Mango
Must-
Nation Fox from Keith Crew is definitely on that list.
Yes.
But yeah, actual gifts.
Not the Walmart gaming PC.
No. Oh, God,
I watched a
no.
video of a YouTuber get really excited to have that, and I'm like, on one hand, I'm like, yeah, you have a good PC. And I went to the comments, and everyone's just shitting on him for being excited. I'm like, yeah, you're also right.
Yeah.
People, there was like hot glue bits found on those motherboards and weird stuff. I mean,
It is the awkward situation of, on one hand, I super love the idea of people that want to do video games being able to get an affordable gaming PC. On the other hand,
yes,
it's like,
absolutely.
oh no, this is not a good. This is a bad thing. This is like what back when
Now,
Dell had
yeah.
their proprietary rack system.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's
Okay.
who was it? There's another YouTube channel out there. Gamer Nexus did a breakdown on how bad that.
I've seen a lot of breakdowns of that thing, and on one hand, it's
Yeah.
like it doesn't contain 4 GTX 1080s. I'm like, no, it doesn't. You are correct in
Yeah,
that.
of
But you're
course
also an
not. No.
asshole.
No,
Yeah.
it's the ones that literally pointed out this thing was manufactured
Yeah.
poorly. But in any case, actual things that people might want. I would say pick up the mini system, all of the mini systems, glue them all together.
I like where this is
And-
going.
and-
This goes back.
Mega
This goes
System.
back to my idea of I don't want new consoles. I want to be able to strap existing consoles onto other consoles to make new consoles.
Yeah, just combine them all together into a supercomputer. Just like you just kind of glue and you get all the wires together of all the mini systems, and I think you'll end up creating a portal back to the 90s.
Ooh. In a more serious note, if you're looking to buy someone a console, I think the PS4 is probably still the best console
Yeah.
to go with right now. I'm warming up on.
I'm gonna agree.
I'm warming
Yeah.
up on my Switch, but I still kind of fucking hate that thing.
Yeah, I know somebody with the PS4 Pro, and it is
Yeah.
fantastic. It is super good.
I'm digging.
And now they have the cheaper, you can get the the cheaper version of the PS4. I mean, so there's a lot of great choices out there, and yeah, I think for console PS4 wins, if only because it has Spider-Man on it, which is super good. But PS4, yeah, super good.
God
And
of War, if you're just with a PS4, God of War is a real good
oh
game.
yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't played it myself, but I've heard literally nothing but good about it. It didn't win
Yeah, it
Game
did.
of the Year. Yeah, I mean,
did.
for nothing. What I'm saying, it didn't win Game of the
sure,
Year for
yeah.
nothing. It's actually a full-on, extremely good game.
Yeah, it's
I just really
And you-
quick because this came up here. I want to point out that like with all the crazy features about online and multiplayer and cross-platform, Game of the Year was a single-player, non-microtransaction
Yeah.
bullshit game.
Yep.
Just to
That's-
point that out, that people were so caught up on all this crazy shit that the number one game this year was a no frills, single player, no microtransaction.
I'll go one step
bullshit.
further.
Yeah. No online version either. No online
I'll throw
stuff
an extra
at all.
caveat on that there. It's the only game that came out this year I'm angry there wasn't DLC for. Like, I want more story for that game.
Yeah.
And I have to fucking wait for God of War 2 like a peasant.
Yeah. But I think that sounds like an amazing
Yeah.
idea. I think there is now VR systems have gone down in price. I mean, if you have that much of a pocket, I mean, any of the existing VR systems are way cheaper than they used to be. They've even come out with cheaper versions of some of their systems, like kind of entry level stuff,
Or on the flip side,
which are
if you own a PS4
like $200 as opposed to $400. So I mean, I think that would be. I mean, I've thought about getting one myself. So I'm just going
on
to
the
throw that
flip
out
side
there.
of that, the highest rated from a kind of enjoyment standpoint VR headset out there is the PSVR, and you can get a full setup for that for like $200, I think.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, and I believe that includes the hand controls and everything.
That's the holiday bundle for it. I've looked at that a
Yeah.
couple times, and if I wasn't still technically in a state of mild unpacking and or had the studio stuff, I would have bought one by now. Like it's very weird that the worst of the 3 VR headsets is arguably the best of the 3 VR headsets from a just stuff to do with it standpoint.
Yeah,
It has
I
the
mean-
most games. That's the bet. It has the most we think of as traditional games for it, and that's
Yeah.
a big deal.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, that's the thing, combination of affordability plus actually having a library. That's a very, very strong
Yeah.
thing.
If you know someone who owns a Switch, I'm gonna look this up quickly. The company I bought my Switch grip from to make it less switchy is doing a holiday thing. If you own a Switch, you should go out there and buy yourself a actual grip for that thing. does make that thing better.
Yeah. Also, I have to say, all right, I'm kind of a fan of the Hori controllers, and their Switch controller looks really good. Actually, their Switch Pro controller looks really good.
The scuff stuff for both PS4 and Xbox, I've been a fan of too. I have to say, if you're looking for a nice gift for an Xbox owner, get them a Elite controller. That thing's real nice. I like that.
Yeah.
I've been playing that Mutant game I was talking about at the top of the podcast on that thing. It's great. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's a weird year because there's a bunch of good games, but no like obvious things people should buy. Like it sounds dumb, but like a really nice high end like custom controller, I think, is something that people often overlook in the gift giving thing because it's nice. It's nice to have something that feels like your own at the end of the day too.
Oh yeah, I definitely hear that. I mean, I'm sitting here in front of my computer, and beside it, I have my 360 controller that is super like modded out. Now, not the electronics or anything, but like the triggers, the buttons, and the joysticks are all metal, like steel, like machined aluminum, and so it's really nice. I have this nice grip on it. That's a cover for it, and I literally I've been using it for years and years now. I mean, it's never gone bad, and it's nice to have a nice, good working, solid controller. Even though this one, I think I might need to replace the left joystick actuator. It's getting loose, but in any case, nice controller. Vastly underrated, and there's the what's it called? The controller that adds all the extra buttons and being able to use it from the back buttons and other controls
That's
to
the
it for
Elite
accessibility.
Oh no, the Xbox one you're talking about, the buttony thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want one of those just period. I think it's like $20 too.
Yeah, and those are very cool too.
Avoid stuff like gaming chairs.
Those are useless. Then they are
expensive for what they are.
Just get an actual chair. I mean, or go down to your local thrift shop and get a really nice chair for like nothing.
Get a bean bag. Wreck that back.
Yeah. Bean bag will cost you a fraction of the cost of those supposedly pro gamer chairs, and it's going to be very comfortable. And if you actually look into it, they make some pretty cool bean bags, and not that expensive.
Just full of ground up copies of Atari CT.
Yep, and the tears of Blizzard fans.
Have you been crying into a beanbag, Alex?
Yeah.
That's just a depressing thought, like just some dude filling a beanbag with tears.
Oh god,
it's comfortable and absorbent.
Hopefully that gave you some inspiration, Carlos. Next email. This one's just for you, Alex.
Yeah. What do we got?
Dear Wicked Awesome Cast, what would the Matrix Online of 2018 actually be? If there are plans to actually answer this question in a few weeks, please disregard this email. But if there are no plans to use this brilliant award concept for future podcasts, I want to know what 2018 Matrix Online is, in your opinions, as well as an explanation of what that award means. I assume Alex's Matrix Online of 2018 is still somehow the Matrix Online because, well, Alex. But what are Charlie and Henry's Matrix Onlines of 2018s?
Wouldn't that just be the Blizzard?
It does seem like that, yeah.
Yeah, I would say Heroes of the Storm. Heroes of the Storm wins the Matrix Online Award of 2018. If I had to assign an award.
What game most betrayed its fan base? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
And let them on thinking things would be different.
Maybe that should be a new yearly award.
We have awards like this.
But I mean this one in particular. Add this one into the bunch.
It just becomes a thing.
Add this one to the bunch.
Yeah. No, Here's the Storm is definitely a strong contender. Destiny, maybe. It's that kind of a weird year in its fan base community. I don't know.
Yeah, but they're still actively working on it. They just got a new...
Yes, and the Black Armory has been unbelievably polarizing.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
I don't think polarizing in a bad way, but also, like, as someone who played a lot of Destiny 2 Forsaken when that thing dropped and bought the annual pass thing for it. I barely touched Black Armory. I'm like, oh, this is a thing. I don't have time to put into this. Yeah. Telltale. No!
Oh, yeah.
It's Walking Dead, the final season. It's absolutely that. Because that game got shut down mid-development, so like 2 of the episodes are out, but it possibly will never be finished. Except the company picked up is going to finish it. No, that is the Matrix Online of 2018.
I think that would be a good one. Yeah, I think that would be because the game is done. At least Heroes of the Storm is in quote unquote.
You can still play Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah. That sounds like a good contender.
Maybe we'll fight about this in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Thank you for writing in.
Don't we have a Krampus cast? Don't we have a Krampus cast?
Oh, that's like next week. Like, I think next episode is the Krampus cast. Like, I have to do... Like, I love the Krampus cast, but also the amount of work that goes into prepping for the Krampus cast is always like this daunting thing. So I have to go through and find like just the fucking dumbest news articles of the year where it's like, really? And then boil it down to a list we can actually get through. Like, it's... I'm super excited because it's been a great year for that type of shit in a bad way.
Yeah. There have been some real humdingers of news.
So another email from Anonymous. This one fits near and dear to my heart. Dear Wicked Awesome Cast, how long until one of you buys the Soulja Boy gaming console? I know they are essentially repackaged Ouyas, but the novelty of a Soulja Boy gaming console seems like something one of you 3 would be interested in owning, simply for owning it.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that I'm probably the most likely to buy something ridiculous and dumb like that.
Oh no, I think I'm a very heavy contender in this case.
Yeah, I tend to buy weird stuff, like gaming stuff, like for instance, I have the Soul controller for Onimusha 3 for the PS2, which was a motion control sword for the game. And but it only works literally just for Onimusha 3, but yeah. And weird stuff like that. So I still own a Neo Geo Pocket Color that I still play sometimes. So yeah, I'm that weird when it comes to like what the type of gaming hardware I tend to latch onto. I'm in equal
category, except I keep looking at this thing from the simple standpoint of, oh, this is real fucking dumb. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad it's not me getting it, but instead it's you. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
I had to do it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. This I guess, and just a little little thing to add on to there. Oh yeah, his console includes some stolen games.
Oh yeah, no. Everything about this is either the most Soulja Boy thing or like the saddest Soulja Boy thing. I don't know what it is. Like I guess it's kind of a Switch competitor, but also like, yeah, it's not the only one out there. That's the there's the Soulja Boy Game Fuse out there, the Soulja Boy handheld. Like there are 3 consoles you could get from Soulja Boy right now if you so chose.
But I'm really disappointed that none of them seem to have his real brand on them. Like like a signature or something, or like, a design.
I was just going to say that. Like, if any of these had the word Soulja Boy across it in, like, giant, gaudy, gold lettering.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Missed opportunities, man.
Like, if these things were worse in some ways, with just the giant words of Soulja Boy across them, I would be increasingly more likely to buy them.
Oh yeah. Oh, if the more audacious the label on it, the more likely I would be to buy it.
Agreed.
Wow, he even has a high-end something, like the one that costs $400.
Yeah, that's the new one. That's the Fuse.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
It runs Ubisoft games.
Oh yeah. Well, I see like Mighty Number 9 on it, and Wow.
And it definitely doesn't run
Blaze-
knockoff
Blaze-
Xbox 360 controllers.
Yeah, definitely not. Yeah. Bizarre. But there again, I don't see his brand on there. Come on,
Yeah.
Soldier Boy. Come on, you're letting us all
Please
down
sign
here.
it with a white Sharpie for me.
Yeah, yeah, that would look actually really
It
cool.
really would.
I would definitely. Yeah, I would consider buying a fuse with his signature on it.
I need another Soldier Boy style U from you, Alex, for my next joke. Can you muster that up for me?
You need
The
a what
U
now?
you just did. I can't do the Soldier Boy U.
You
Should have tried harder on this shit.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
so at least two of us would be very likely to buy this if it was more ridiculous, it seems. I'm not proud to admit that fact.
yeah.
Okay, actually, if you fired this thing up and it did the U sound, I would insta-buy it.
Oh, like the old PlayStation
yes!
sound, like that
That's
would
the
be
boot
great.
sound. Yes.
Well, it's gotta do like the PS2 where it's like it does a little chime up, so it'd be like,
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I fucking want. That's 100% what I want.
Oh. There
If there's
again,
an update that does that, fucking
The
sign
fact
me
that
up.
it doesn't mean
Mis-
someone does not get how to sell this shit.
Yeah, come on. Come on. You know he knows memes and he knows
He knows
internet.
video
Come on.
games.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he streamed video games
He has.
before, hasn't he?
He's been doing stuff since his time in the sun,
Yep.
like making game consoles, apparently. So
Mhm.
to clarify, all of these are just repackagings and resellings of existing Chinese consoles that may or may not be legal in the U.S.
Yeah. Let's just say
They're,
no,
yeah,
they're
they're
not.
not, but
They're
oh yeah,
blatantly
no,
not.
they're marvelous. If Soldier Boy could get me a Chinese NVIDIA Shield with English language, in that I would be interested in getting hold of, because that fucker runs Nintendo games.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh wow.
From Nintendo, though. So I'm waiting for the Soldier Boy Shield, apparently. But yeah, that's for this week's podcast. We can be contacted at wickedawesomecast@gmail.com. Down in the show notes. Anyone got anything else they want to talk before we get out of here?
No, I'm good.
Nope. I think I'm all right.
Well then. No last thoughts on Blizzard, Alex?
No, I'm sure they'll find a way to fuck something up next week. I can tell you that.
Such optimism.
Yeah.
Such optimism. Well, in that case then, cue the metal.